Went to a concert last night. Yes, that concert. I'm a guy, so there is, usually, never a line for the bathroom. Between Paramore and Taylor, I decided to use the bathroom real quick. I saw a line of women and figure they were in for women's bathroom. So I said excuse me and pushed past them. I heard a bunch of people say, hey, or, whoa, and kept walking. I was inside and the line of women continued as I headed to the wall of urinals, which no one was at. A woman near the front of the line said, excuse me, there's a line. I said, okay, well, I'm going to use the urinal and there's not one for that. She said, I don't care. There's a line. Wait in the line like everyone else. I said, no, I'm not going to do that, since again, there's no one using the urinal. And went and started to go towards the urinal. The woman said presumably to her friend, I'll be right back, I'm going to get security to deal with this jerk. Security wasn't there by the time I had washed my hands, so I just left and no one stopped me. They said I did something bad, but did I really? I am totally fine that women were using the mean bathroom, but did I really have to wait in line for something that wasn't being used? I, 24F, was a gymnast in college, and I've gotten used to that being a topic of discussion when around new people. A few days ago, I was hanging out by the pool with my boyfriend, some of his friends and family, and one of his cousins asked me if I could still do all the moves and stretches. I played along, put down my drink and did a standing split, lifting my leg and holding it behind my head. It was a seemingly normal cute moment, whatever. People clapped, we laughed, moved on. Anyway, my boyfriend's sister mentioned to me that she thought it was an inappropriate thing for me to do in that setting. She said it was suggestive to do that in a bikini in front of a mixed audience. I told her I didn't agree. It was a very basic gymnasts, and even yoga, pose, just all in good fun. Now I'm getting the cold shoulder. AITA? Was I being naive? Hi everyone, I'm in a tough spot right now and I'm not sure if I'm the asshole or not. My girlfriend, 27F, let's call her Sarah, and I, 26M, have been together for 3 years. She's always been passionate about her job as a teacher and has worked really hard to build up her career. However, a few weeks ago, I accidentally stumbled upon some photos of Sarah on Instagram that I had never seen before. They were pictures of her in some very revealing clothing, and some of them were even nude. I was shocked and confronted her about it, and she told me that she used to be a lingerie model before becoming a teacher. She said she stopped doing it because she didn't want it to affect her career, and she thought I knew about it already. I didn't know how to react at first, but eventually, I told a few of my friends about it. One of my friends is a gossip and ended up telling someone who works at the school where Sarah teaches. Long story short, the photos somehow got into the hands of the school board, and Sarah was fired for unprofessional behavior. Sarah is devastated and blames me for ruining her career. She says that I should have kept my mouth shut and that I betrayed her trust. I feel terrible about what happened, but I didn't know that it would lead to this. AITA for accidentally ruining my girlfriend's career? Throwaway, my college made the NCAA tournament and it's not a common thing for where I went to school. I have a basement bar and so I invited my friends that went to the same school over for a watch party. There were about a dozen of us core group members plus some spouses and kids. We all went to the same school and half of us are season ticket holders of the basketball team. We are pretty passionate fans. If we made the Sweet 16, we'd consider going out for that. In the lead up, I got a text from one friend saying he would be bringing his new girlfriend who I had never met before. Which I was fine with. When I host watch parties, they are social events, but we all intently watch and cheer on our school. Everyone shows up early. We are all eating, drinking, and watching all the other games. My buddy shows up with his girlfriend, but they are both wearing our opponent's clothes. It's a what the fuck moment for many of my friends and I. 1. Our buddy went to school with us. 2. He should know better than to bring people rooting for our opponent around at an event like this. I go confront him and say what the hell is this regarding his shirt. He introduces me to his girlfriend and tells me she went to the school we were playing that day. I tell him it's dumb he isn't wearing clothes for the school he went to and told them I appreciate them showing but they should watch the game somewhere else. He seems stunned, and goes I thought it'd be fine. I said if it was a regular season game maybe, but not a tourney game. He starts arguing, but I just repeat it'd be better if they left. He starts calling me an asshole and continues arguing. I just lead them out of the house. He sent me a few angry texts, but I didn't want people supporting our opponent at this party. I'm aware I may have made a bad impression on his girlfriend, but was I the asshole? I, 27M, am American and my girlfriend, 28F, is British and ethnically half Indian. She is not religious and culturally very British, speaks with a British accent, etc. We live in the US and recently started living together. She works at a tech company. I noticed about half the days when she goes to work, she dresses in Indian clothes, even her heels are shiny gold or silver. The look is stuff like this. https://cdn.shopify.com/s/files/14717/5470/x1500x1500.jpg closing parenthesis. She looks really cute and I think it is fine for a party or festival, but it looks really out of place for the American workplace. I have Indian friends in American and the women dress Western here except for festivals. I told her to tone it down a bit as it looks out of place in America and she might face discrimination and some of the heels look too unprofessional for the workplace. I work at a bank and everyone is dressed really formal. She got upset and told me she will wear whatever she pleases and is acting cold towards me. I did not push it as ultimately it is her choice and she can face the consequences. Was I the here? She does not even like India and criticizes the place all the time and the politics there and she identifies as British. Edit. Seems like most people think I am ta. I guess I owe her an apology and need to learn a bit more on the issue. I did not have bad intentions, I just want people to think well of her and I have seen her get mocked and catcalled outside. My husband travels for work and regularly works long hours so our children don't see him every day and they go weeks without seeing him in person sometimes. We had a fight over it recently so he's been home a lot more. Our daughter asked him yesterday when he was going home. She's 3 and she's convinced herself that he doesn't live with us and he only visits sometimes because he isn't here every day like I am. My husband was upset, especially since he couldn't convince her he really did live here. And he brought it up before we went to bed because he felt I should have done more to make her realize he did live here and he couldn't always be home because he was working. I asked him what did he expect and he said I was kicking him while he was already down. He's also blaming me partly for the situation because I'm the reason we don't live in the same city as their HQ and he's been angry with me all day. AITA? I, 28M, had to travel overseas for a couple weeks for work-related reasons. My sister's, 19F college is nearby, and she offered to feed my cats and water my plants while I was gone. I said sure thanks, and told her she was welcome to stay there while I was gone, since she lives in a dorm. Anyway, the day I got home, my sister was there with her boyfriend. That was fine. He's always seemed like a cool guy, but one thing I noticed was that my sheets were still in my washer. I didn't think much of it, I just assumed my sister waited to wash them, since she was using my bed while she was there. But she tells me, sorry, my boyfriend and I were using the bed last night. That grossed me out. I don't think I'm being unreasonable to not want people screwing in my bed. My sister told me to relax, and said I was being a prude American. Her boyfriend is from Ireland. She said that we, meaning Americans, stigmatize sex, and that she washed the sheets so it's fine. I said no it's not and told her to get out. She isn't welcome there anymore. Our mother has been reaming me via text, saying I am overreacting. Me and my stepcousin, I'll name her Leah for this post, are in the same field. We work at a company which is co-owned by my boyfriend's dad. To put it simply, Leah's jealous. She thinks I don't deserve to be there and get everything handed to me. I'm a hard worker and got a promotion recently, which set her off even more. Both of us had actually been applying to some other jobs as well. She got one of them, so she's going to move out of state soon. I also got an offer but decided to stay here because of the promotion. We had a family potluck over the weekend, and of course a lot of them had heard of my promotion and were congratulating me. Leah was there and she seemed fine throughout the night, but at one point my aunt, her stepmom, said something about how proud everyone is of me for being so successful in a traditionally man's field. I just said thanks and told her I'd gotten an offer from another place too, but decided to stay and I'm happy I have options on what I want to do. Leah overheard this and came at me, saying, "It's not about my options but my nepo privilege, and how she got a new job too but everyone's kissing up to my ass." I had enough at that point and told her to stop acting like a jealous bitch, and focus on herself instead of looking at what others have that she doesn't. She got upset and pretty much stormed off. I did text her later but she didn't reply. I told my friend this. She knows Leah too, and she said I should apologize to Leah and what I said was way wrong. I don't really think so, but AITA? My friend suggested to post here. I, 27M, like to be friendly, and I figured that calling people by their nicknames would be a good way to make the friendship feel closer. I've been doing it for a long time, but over the years a few people didn't seem to like it, while others didn't mind at all. Most recently, I saw my colleague's friend call her Nori, so I decided to call her Nori, too. However, she got angry at me, saying that only her best friend can call her that. I asked her why she'd get so worked up over something so small, and she told me that many people that I call by nickname, without permission, don't like it. I wouldn't mind if someone called me by my nickname like my friends do, and honestly I never felt that many people disliked being called by their nickname. My colleague does seem pretty annoyed, though. AITA? So I, 24F, work in a retail store that requires name tags. I tend to get a lot of inappropriate customer and it can lead to harassment. I don't mind if someone simply shoots their shot as long as they respect me declining, but a lot of them don't. I've noticed it seems to be worse when I wear my name tag because they start using my name and it's also lead to people trying to find me on social media to continue harassing me after. So I kind of just stopped wearing it. However, we have a new manager that insists on the name tag despite me explain I'm not comfortable wearing it. I suggested I get a different name for the tag and he agreed and is ordering new tags for me. My thought process is that if I wear a different name the comments won't get to me as much, at least I don't think so, and they won't be able to find me on social media. Now my coworkers are upset. They think it's ridiculous that I want to change my name tag and that it's unfair because they already know me by my given name. They also say I'm tough for making a big deal out of something we all have to deal with. Most of my coworkers are also women and are harassed too, so AITA for changing the name on my name tag? I, 37M, work for a small tech company. My local university has a partnership with our company and invites some of us to judge a game jam competition where students have 3 days to make a small game in groups. I was one of the judges. There were a lot of groups that were mixed gender, some with just guys and 3 groups with only girls. 2 of the girl groups dropped out the first day as they felt they could not get their idea done. When I passed by the work area of the remaining girl group, I saw that they were making really good progress and I complimented them on their game, said it was looking really good and mentioned that the other girl groups dropped out but it looks like they are surviving. One of the girls got upset at me and said I should not be complimenting their project in a way that implies it is good work for a girl project. She was visibly cold with me for the rest of the competition and glared at me. And I think she complained to someone because, later I got a message from a manager about making sure I was sensitive about the lack of women in CS. I still gave their project a good score as it was really good and my 3rd favorite. They ended up winning and my 1st and 2nd pick came 2nd and 4th respectively. AITA for complimenting their project? Edit. Okay, I get the point. I will be more careful next time and I kind of get it. However, it was not my intent to make her feel that way. I thought I was encouraging them. It never directly said something like good work for a girl. My 18-year-old daughter, Meg, is in college. She moved in with her boyfriend a few months ago, which left her old bedroom empty. Her bedroom used to be right next to our tiny living room. To make our tiny living room into a normal-sized living room, we knocked out my daughter's room's wall, refloored the space and fixed the walls. Now it looks like the bedroom was never there and we have a spacious living room. When my daughter came home to visit and saw that her room is gone, she made a huge deal about it. She got all emotional and said if we never wanted to let her move back, we should have just said so instead of completely demolishing her room. I told her that if anything happens and she needs to move back, we will welcome her and she could sleep on the couch as long as she wants. But she accused us of wanting to get rid of her forever and for her to never visit us since we got rid of her room so fast, only a few months after she moved out, and we should have waited longer. AITA for not waiting longer with the renovation? My sister-in-law is from another state and lost her driver's license for reckless driving. I was driving her on some errands as a favor. She thinks that she discovered Google Maps for some reason, had it on and insisted on giving me directions the entire way. I have driven in this area hundreds of times, I did not need directions. Plus, the directions she was giving me were mostly wrong. She also commented on my driving habits, which seemed ironic, since I have never had an at-fault accident and she lost her license. She became angry when I ignored her directions and advice, and I thought that she reached for the steering wheel a few times. In fairness, she did not actually grab the steering wheel, but it was enough to scare me. I pulled off at a park and ride, gave her my bus pass, it had enough on it to get her home, and said, "Get out, take bus number 37, get off on stop number XXXXXX. I left her at the stop and drove home. That entire side of the family is now angry with me. My wife was a bit upset, but she calmed down after I explained it. She knows her sister well. She thought I should have warned her before dumping her at the bus stop, but thought that my sister might have eventually grabbed the steering wheel. I am the asshole? I am 26, became a dad a month ago. Hence, why I'm posting at 4 a.m. I can't sleep. I got my girlfriend, F24, who I was living with, pregnant. Her parents never really approved of me after that. When I brought her home after the birth, her parents came with us. I paid a buddy of mine to buy a bunch of things she couldn't have while pregnant or avoided while pregnant and put them in a basket. Some notable items were sushi, an expensive bottle of her favorite wine, and a Keurig machine. I know she misses having a glass every once in a while. She's been especially strong when I had my buddies over to watch sports and we had a few beers. Also, she loves her coffee, and I couldn't tell you how she went to work for 8 months without it. So I felt bad and splurged. When her parents saw this gift, they called me uneducated and said that the alcohol can get in the breast milk. I told them I did my research and they said that it is immature to gift alcohol to a woman who just gave birth. I may be overthinking this, but AITA? I just got off a Southwest flight, no seat assignments, and I was sat towards the very back of the plane when we landed. People at the front got up to get ready, but no one in the middle section got up. I was in the aisle seat and I only had a backpack, so I took the opportunity and walked to the front of the plane to line up behind the people in the very front. While I was waiting to exit the airplane, the person sitting in the seat next to where I was standing asked me, "Have the rules changed?" And I pretended not to hear him because I had headphones on and I didn't say anything to him. Then he got up and said, "Why don't you go back to the back and wait like everyone else?" I didn't respond again, but this time there was a lady behind me who said she needed to catch her connecting flight that was already boarding. The guy then said, "Well, the rules haven't changed, but if you want to be a jerk, go ahead." The lady who had the connecting flight definitely had a valid reason to cut in line, but when was this ever a rule, lol? I don't think I did anything wrong because everyone who I skipped could have gotten up and waited in the aisle, so AITA here? Edit 1. Grammar Edit 2. Added airline for more context. Edit 3. I got out of my seat after the seatbelt sign was off and the bridge was connected to the plane. I mean, basically the title, but now the lady is calling me out as a Karen online. But here are the details from my perspective. I got out of the shower and went back to my locker to change. I'm in a towel. There's a woman taking pictures of herself near my locker and a couple mirrors. I ask her to stop a few times, but she can't hear me until I raised my voice, headphones. At this point, I'm upset, and I'm certain she felt attacked, but instead of stopping and saying sorry, she shoves her phone in my face, says they aren't of me, and continues to take pictures. Now I'm even more uncomfortable and almost crying. I'm in a locker room, in a towel, trying to change, and she's taking pictures. Manager happens to walk in, so I tell her what's going on, and the lady and I get into again. I was not cool and calm. I will admit that, but neither was she. Gym managers were awesome and are filing an incident report to have her membership revoked, but I found her online and she's calling me a Karen. Am I? And #X200B. Update. Thank you so much for the feedback. To the few of you that had constructive criticism, I agree, I could have handled it differently, but it's hard to stay calm and rational when you are in a towel and someone is holding a camera. The only reason I found her on Insta was to make sure she didn't post any photos of me. I now have someone else watching her account, just in case, as it clearly wasn't healthy for me to watch her myself. I haven't received confirmation from the gym that her membership is revoked yet, so until I do, I won't be going back. But the managers at X Sport have been awesome so far, so I'm hopeful I'll hear something soon. I just don't trust the chick to not take photos of me in a public space and blast them. I'ma preface this with I hate dogs. Can't stand them. I think they are gross. I avoid them. I do anything I can to not have them in my life. I have a 6-month-old son. Best kid in the entire world. We are at the neighborhood park, not a dog park, and all dogs are supposed to stay leashed, and my son, my wife and I are having a picnic. It's going great. Baby is on a big blanket and having the time of his life, rolling around, playing, giggling. It's a blast seeing him so happy. We are near a walking path. Next thing I know, there is a pair of puppies coming right at us. They are unleashed, and their owner is just standing on the walking path looking at them running toward us. I didn't notice them until they were pretty much on our blanket. At that point I picked up my son and yelled WTF to the guy. He looked appalled that I didn't enjoy the stunt his dogs and him pulled. My wife is yelling at him, I'm yelling at him. I straight up say, I hate your dogs, can you get them? His puppies are just sitting on our blanket expecting to get petted. I start walking toward the guy and am yelling at him to get his dogs. He starts getting mad at us. He says they are friendly and just wanted to play, they aren't going to hurt anyone. I tell him he just ruined our lunch. He excuses his and the dog's behavior by saying they are puppies. I don't care, I just want him and his dogs gone. I'm just cussing at him continuously. He's telling me to calm down, but I'm hot. I continue cussing and he finally grabs his 2 dogs and is like, who doesn't like puppies? He finally leaves. Buddha ruined our lunch. In hindsight, I may have been too aggressive with him. AITA? Throw away only cuz I don't want this on my main. Okay, so basically my husband and I are getting married later this year. Each of our sides of the family are fairly big. It will be around 100 to 150 people total. My husband and I are paying for this all ourselves, as well as my grandma, who said she doesn't care one way or the other on this issue. She just loves weddings. We have a lot of kids in our family, so we decided against making it child-free, but we did decide to make it dry. So there will be no alcohol of any kind at our wedding. Honestly, this doesn't have anything to do with there being kids there, but due to the fact that my fiancé and I don't drink. Nothing against people who do, it's just not for us and we don't want to. On top of that, we only really drink water. We rarely, if ever, drink soda, so most of the time it's only water with the occasional juice and milk. We don't even drink coffee. So obviously the food, which is a part my grandma is not paying for, is going to be expensive for that many people. We are having our wedding catered, so everyone will have a good choice of food to choose from, but to drink only water will be provided. We don't want to have to pay for alcohol or soda. It is just a large added expense when we can just do filtered water for a much cheaper cost. Well, when family and friends found out, being got angry. Some didn't really care, but some are really upset about it. Saying that I can just have an open bar so I don't have to pay for drinks. We could, but still have to pay for the bartender, and we just really don't want to bother with alcohol there. Or we should at least have soda, because how can we expect everyone to drink only water? The kids will be upset. The wedding will be boring. That this is not how weddings work. Etc. So AITA? I didn't think this would be a problem. It's only water. I mean, don't most people drink water every day anyway? Should we pay the extra to have soda to make the family happy? I, 35M, am a very cheerful person by nature. I went through a lot of shit in life, and I struggled a lot, but throughout it all, I managed to keep an even temperament. I am an optimist by nature, and I always try to maintain a cheerful and bright outlook on life. My wife, 34F, is the opposite. She tends to get angry easily, and is more cynical and jaded than me. We get along well for the most part, but she tends to always predict the worst. She always thinks about things that could go wrong, and never really appreciates what we have. The problem is, as my kids are growing up, they are getting imbibed with her energy. They are starting to become incredibly cynical, with dour pronouncements on employment and the economy, constantly trying to bring up incredibly depressing news. They seem to enjoy talking about corruption and downfall, and the bad things about our life and society in general. I read about some scientist who discovered that if you move your face into a smile, like hold that expression, that muscle movement actually has an impact on your mood, and you become happier. Last month, I decided to put this in practice. For every single negative or depressing thing they say, I take away $1 from my kids' allowances. They begrudgingly went along with it at first, but now they are getting really annoyed at me, and everyone is calling me an aw for this. I don't understand what's so wrong about trying to keep my family from devolving into miserable people who see negativity and evil all around them, but my family says that I am being controlling. AITA?